Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. As we've heard, my name is Emily, and I work as a business application and technology analyst for the Translation People group. Today, I'll be talking to you about how Plunet has been a vital part of our growth strategy through acquisitions and automation. A little bit about me first. I've been working in the translation industry for a little over 13 years, various roles, from freelance linguist to team lead. I joined the Translation People back in 2017 as an account manager. However, I've always maintained an active interest in translation technology, where I could, assisting our file engineers and localization colleagues alongside managing customer accounts. But with private equity backing back in 2023, the Translation People embarked on an ambitious growth plan focused on acquisitions and increased investment in its tech stack. This investment also created an opportunity for me to step full-time into a tech-first role, which I was delighted about. So what exactly is my role? I don't know that many of you will have met a business application and technology analyst before. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but as well as managing the day-to-day admin on our main business management system, Plunet, I also have responsibility for all migrations to this tool, including our initial migration from an old business management and finance system last year. I'm also tasked with keeping my finger on the pulse of new language tech innovations and have been integral in my company exploring and rolling out the latest AI-powered solutions for the language industry. So I'm very excited to hear what everyone has to say today about AI and new language tech. We started by acquiring Sure Languages in 2023, an Edinburgh-based company which is now fully integrated with our Scotland team. More recently, we made the acquisition of Dialogue Language Services towards the end of last year. Then, at the beginning of this year, we made our largest acquisition to date in Transladium, with teams in both London and Barcelona. Transladium add a wealth of experience with end-to-end e-learning projects, and Dialogue brought with them a small but technology-forward team. So what do all these acquisition companies have in common? Well, that's right, they were all existing Plunet users as well. Plunet truly living up to its reputation in that sense as the market-leading business management tool for the language industry. I'd like to take a moment to look at what we've achieved to date. I know that this summit's mostly about the future and looking forward, but since I stepped into this role, and with huge support from the team at Plunet, one of the key achievements of our technology roadmap has been the migration of all three of our existing Translation People companies and teams from a bespoke but outdated business management application and onto Plunet. As our previous system was a combined business management and finance system, I was also the technology lead on our Integral project to develop a custom API linking Plunet to our new finance system. This integration allows us to use Plunet as our primary data source for all our customers and external resources, and brought with it some great efficiencies for our finance team, such as automatic invoice reminders and a new vendor portal for supplier invoice control and submission. A new fully integrated customer portal also works much better across all companies in the group. As mentioned, we have already achieved the very successful integration of Sure Languages, a huge part of which was migrating their Plunet system into ours as a single unified system. Another recent milestone, after a thorough review of the market, was the implementation of our new TMS and fellow speakers at this summit, MemoQ. And a significant deciding factor in the review process was the opportunities for automation and efficiencies afforded by the dynamic integration between MemoQ and Plunet. So now on to discuss automation, which is apt since it's not only the focus of this year's summit, but it's also one of the Translation People's strategic goals for 2025. The dialogue team that I mentioned, one of our acquisitions, are already very successfully using the automated workflows and dynamic CAT integration in their Plunet system. When we acquired the company, although they were using another CAT tool, they had already implemented automated workflows and the Plunet integration very successfully, which actually allowed them to make a 50% reduction in project management staff while impressively maintaining the same workload and revenue. At the end of last year, the translation people carried out a thorough review of the CAT tool market. This review resulted in us adopting MemoQ as our main CAT tool across the group. With Dialog as the first of our users to be migrated to the new TMS, Plunet were excellent supporting us with an almost seamless transition within the Dialog system from the old CAT tool to the new MemoQ integration. Despite initial hesitation due to their already very lean project management team, like I mentioned, the overwhelming feedback has been that the new integration works even better than the old one, with support for multilingual files and even more automation now possible through project templates. Spurred on by the success of the Dialog adoption of the MemoQ integration, we will be rolling out the Automation Manager and MemoQ integration in our main Plunet system this summer. So, why merge, you might ask? Why not run multiple Plunet systems side by side? Well, migrating the group's data into one system is really a no-brainer in terms of maintaining data management. Maintaining multiple systems would be inefficient in this way and make reporting much trickier across the group in the long run. Company codes are a really nifty feature from Plunet that allow you to easily maintain one umbrella system for all of our locations. In addition, the process of reviewing another company's system can actually be a great way to discover efficiencies that we hadn't thought of yet. And finally, they can also offer invaluable insight on some of the additional modules available from Plunet that might be worth adding to our main BMS. For example, some of the modules that have been tried and tested by our various acquisitions and we've gained valuable insight on are the Automation Manager, which we've already decided to adopt, Vendor Registration Manager, Single Sign-On, and so on. Of course, all these efficiencies and savings don't come without some blood, sweat, and tears, mostly mine. With Plunet being such a highly granular and customizable tool, which is in many ways the key to its success in an industry that operates largely without any standard practices. This makes almost anything possible through brilliant features like text modules, templates, and workflows. However, such freedom and almost endless possibilities make merging two separate Plunet systems a huge undertaking. It can often feel like we're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, I like to say. And a big part of the process is deciding what is essential to keep as is from both systems and what can be adopted and adapted in either system. So it's not always the case that the main system is king in this scenario. Data mapping and migration is just the first step in the process. We've found that every acquisition uses Plunet in very different ways. And at the outset, we must work very quickly and carefully to align on data usage and processes so that we can ensure as smooth a migration as possible. This also means reviewing all the customizations and how they're being used. One main problem area for us in our integration is our integration with the finance system. Due to us having multiple billing locations and a single vendor table, this means that VAT mapping is a key consideration when importing new customers and resources. Our latest acquisition, Transladiem, has a Spanish company, which brings with it a new VAT value, and we're still working on finding the best solution to integrate this under one business management system. So, to sum up, our ultimate goal in adopting Plunet as our business management system was to be more efficient and to save on staff costs. For a company like ours with ambitious growth plans, Plunet has proved to be a very scalable and reliable system. Some of the key ways in which Plunet has helped us realise these aims are the launch of the vendor portal I mentioned, which is something that we never had before, which allows our linguists to upload their payable invoices directly into the system and saves our accounts payable team hours and hours of manual work that used to be spent reconciling POs and invoices. The vendor portal also allows for easy file sharing, saving on email and increasing security. The migration process also presented an opportunity for us to review and improve many of our, I don't want to say outdated, but long-standing project management and reporting processes. We know from our experience through dialogue that the MemoQ integration and related automation possibilities will likely save us as much as 50% on project management time, which will allow us to drive revenue while saving on costs. We are still near the start of our journey with Plunet, but we look forward to seeing what exciting innovations they bring in the future. Thank you very much for your attention today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know or find me after. My contact information is on the screen, and I'll be here for the rest of the summit. So enjoy the rest of your time in Berlin, and thank you for your time. Hi, do we have a question? Yeah? So we are speaking to acquisitions of all kinds that some of them don't use Plunet, and it is a consideration. At the moment, we're looking at having one unified BMS, but it's always possible. We currently work with multiple CAT tools. We try to be quite a tech-agnostic company, so it's not out of the question that we would run multiple systems. The interesting thing for me that was spoken about earlier today is the possibility to have third-party tools integrating with Plunet. So perhaps migrations isn't the only way to have a unified system. Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.